that's it. Welcome to Comics League Movie Night, where we talk about the latest and oldest comic book movies of all time. So we are talking about Spawn, one of the most criminally underrated comic book movies of all time. But to start off, let's bring in my co-host. JJheat will be joining us shortly, but I got one.
So this is where you hang out.
So you and Starfire finally tied the knot, huh?
No, me and Batgirl.
Hi, guys. Oh, I do.
Hi, Nick.
How long are you going to use that for?
However long you're going to use the Wonder Bat intro. I told you, dude, you declared war on the wrong dude.
My wounds are self-inflicted, it seems.
Yes, they are very self-inflicted. But anyway, how are you, brother? Are you feeling spawned?
Aside from a wounded ego, I think I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, trust me. There's plenty more I could wound your ego, but I kind of wanted to give you a little mercy, which is why
how honorable of you.
Oh, trust me. There's plenty of other ways I could have taken that, and trust me, there's plenty of additions I plan to make.
No, this is just what they want. You're playing their game, so I'll play dirty.
Oh, yeah. Trust me. I'm coming for you, dude. So we're talking about Spawn.
That's what she said.
Yeah. So we're talking about Spawn. So, Nick, as we start off, why don't you give the audience your basic thoughts on Spawn? Actually, first, Nick has something to promote. I almost forgot. I got you. Nick has something to promote. So let me pull up the things, and then we can do that. But
hey,
Nick,
share my screen.
Oh, okay. That works.
All right, so it's that time of the year again where we are in promotion season, and Turn Samurai issue 3 is up on the docket. We are looking for signups. I'm sure Jared will be showing that sweet little link here in a second. Basically, we're at 12 signups right now. That's really awesome. The goal for today is 20, and so if you have not signed up for Turn Samurai issue 3. Please do so, and the book will be hitting Indiegogo May 5th.
And here you go. Here's the link. Link should be here. And Brown Destroyer says there's more Wonder Woman, Superman in post-crisis before. Yeah, exactly. People act like it's a new 52 thing. It's not. But besides that, but so all right. So Spawn was all right. Spawn is an interesting movie. What I mean by that is that
on multiple levels.
On multiple levels. Starting off, okay, the CGI is not the best. I mean, it didn't age as well. I mean, there are some shots that look great, but there are a few of them where I'm like, okay, I can tell when this came out.
When they do Malboja in Hell, it looks bad.
It looks very like of the time. However, plot-wise, the movie's awesome.
Yes, they picked the perfect actor to play Spawn. They picked, Michael Jai White, who honestly, even to this day, he could still play Spawn.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jamie Foxx is another good choice. I think again they got a good actor to play him.
Well, if they ever get that movie off the ground, then sure, yeah.
According to Todd Mcfarlane, it's full steam ahead. But that's just
he's been saying that for 20 years. Like, I'm sorry, he's been saying a Spawn movie is coming literally next week for like the past 20 years. I'll believe it when it happens.
Spawn is childhood memory. In fact, I have something to show off. So I have this. This is the omnibus. That is the first. I think it's like the first 30 issues of Spawn.
Oh, you mean the only good issues of Spawn?
Oh, really? Yeah, it's the first 30, I believe. Yeah. And then They did some great work with King Spawn, which is the more modern. And again, Todd McFarlane has been expanding Spawn with his own like shared continuity with all the Spawn books. So that's actually really cool how he does that.
Yeah, so you got like medieval Spawn, Western Spawn.
You have She Spawn, who actually is really cool. But okay, so Nick, briefly explain to the audience the basic like origin for Spawn.
So Spawn is a man named Al Simmons who was basically a hitman for the U.S. government, and one day he wants out. So they grant his wish with a bullet to the head. And so on his way to hell, he makes a deal with Nalbosha, who's basically Satan, to where if he gets to see his wife Wanda one more time, he will become a general in Hell's army. And like the monkey's paw that is always a deal with the devil, he grants the wish, but it's 5 years later, and Spawn is now a bit crispier than usual.
Oh, very, very crispy, very crispy.
Yeah, and in the comics, they actually do a really cruel prank where he uses his hell magic to become more human, but it turns him into a white dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the comic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Okay. I think they were doing a joke. I think.
Oh, okay. Whatever. No.
Dance Wolf.
I don't know who that is.
I think they're setting up for a joke.
Yeah, all right, whatever. But anyway, Nick, as you were saying.
So basic, and the thing is, this all kind of happens so fast because when he comes back, he has amnesia.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this clown person. This really, like, it looks like a fat dude, like a really disgusting fat dude. And it turns out he is the Violator.
Violator 1, Spawny Boy 0. Oh. Yeah. Huh.
I could not have set you up better if I tried.
Literally, I was waiting for a transition into Spawn, and I was like, into Violator, and I was like, okay, here you go. You provide on a silver platter. But yeah, so that's basically the origin of Spawn, and he's actually done Canon to the Dark Knight Returns crossovers with Batman. So in Dark Knight Returns, Batman has hung out with Spawn.
I actually have the initial comic over on my shelf.
I do too, because they did a reprint of it, and they actually did a modern version with Capullo. But speaking of which, Spawn Comics is really where Capullo got his name.
I mean, if you look at Capullo's art, it's very like McFarlane-esque. So you can tell he comes from like that school.
Yeah, and Brown Destroyer says, my friend thought it was a horror movie, not a superhero movie. Back then, we didn't know that it was a superhero. I mean, they play it off like it's a horror movie, too.
Yeah, I was just about to say kind of something similar. There are very, very horror elements to it.
Sorry about that. I was adjusting my mic. But yeah, exactly. And
so we can't really hear you, Jared. So
Violator, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Violator kind of reminds me of like a Power Rangers like villain, kind of in terms of like he's like his demeanor, his like crazy demeanor, a little bit.
If Power Rangers was rated R, then yes.
Yes, it would be that if Power Rangers were rated R. But
which by the way,
there is
the Violator
YouTube video of that, by the way,
was played by John Leguizamo, the same person complaining about Super Mario Brothers.
And he goes, "Hell no, I'm not going to see it. They can cast an Italian. How do you know no one? How do you know the person that they? This is the only thing I'm going to say about that. All right." So you're complaining that they didn't cast an Italian as Luigi, except here's the thing, though. How do you know no one that you want auditioned for the role?
Also, here's my other counterpoint. You had no problem taking the money to play Luigi in the first movie with you being Hispanic. So you're full of crap. I like you, John Leguizamo. You're a great actor. I enjoy you watching you in movies. But at this point, you are full of crap.
He was good in John Wick.
Oh, yes. But it was Aurelio, the car guy.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, so moving on to Spawn. Okay. So the movie is basically him trying to, like, actually, and what's kind of interesting, before I get to like a little bit more of the plot, you know what this also is? This is one of the first black superhero movies.
Oh, you're actually right.
Did
Especially- and-
Violator violate Spawn's wife in the comics? I didn't read Spawn comics.
I don't know. I would not be surprised.
Me neither. I didn't read that far yet. I'm still like a couple of issues in the compendium, but it's really good. But anyway, when everyone was like, Black Panther's the first black superhero movie. First off, Blade. Second off, Spawn.
Blank Man.
Mm-hmm. There's any number. That's the thing. And it was the first successful one. Blade and Spawn.
Blank Man, not so much.
No matter how you do this, Black Panther was not the first black superhero movie.
No. Oh, he's the first black Marvel superhero. Blade. He's the first successful black superhero. Blade. And maybe to a lesser extent, Spawn. He's the first mainstream Blade.
Yeah, exactly.
So I wish you had the clip. I'm just gonna say it. Some mother ducker's always got ice skate uphill.
Yeah, exactly. That's good. And thank you for censoring yourself, my friend. But so one of the things I like about the Spawn movie is that if you ever want to know how ridiculous the Spawn comics are, the movie does a good job of capturing that. Like where he's chasing him on the hell cycle that transforms into like an armored vehicle that he just causes trucks to like crash. I'm like, yeah.
Well, they did that for a very simple reason, and I'm going to quote the YouTuber Easy Toku writer, because toy sales will go through the roof. So if you feel like Tokusatsu YouTube, you'll know what I just quoted.
Yeah, there's another thing that this movie captured.
Oh, Brown Destroyer, Sex record straight here.
First black superhero was Meteor Man in the 80s by MGM, and it was a hit back then. There you go. They're not even. The point
better.
is, they're still not right. So there you go. Another thing this movie perfectly captures, and the thing about Todd McFarlane's Spawn, one of the things that made it so popular was the cape. The way Todd McFarlane draws the cape. And the movie...
I'd say Todd McFarlane's approach to art is he has a phrase. When in doubt, black it out. And he has kind of like an inverse style to where his favorite shots, and I think he's even said it himself, to where basically a shot of Spawn jumping over the river in New York City, and it's like 80% black, and you just see like Spawn's eyes and like hints of his cape. So Todd McFarlane has really developed a great like kind of silhouette style. Like he's really great about like really punching up with the least amount of stuff.
And look at just the way the movie portrays Spawn's flowing cape too. It's not only that. It's not only just like the way they do the capes. It's also they capture, because the cape itself is kind of like organic. It's kind of like Doctor Strange's cape, only more hardcore. And the way it flows, it looks like you're reading a Spawn comic book, because this is exactly the way. This is exactly how ridiculously large and crazy the cape is.
I mean, the cape is really not all of his powers. We're also forgetting the chains.
And the chains, yeah. And Tom McFarlane is famous for saying, for someone asked him, "What if Spawn used chains?" Kids like chains; they're cool.
Yes,
I'm like, yeah.
Spawn is definitely a character that you can tell was designed by an artist rather than a writer, because I mean, you can just tell like character designed by writers, character design, because a writer will focus on the characteristics, the power sets, while an artist be like, I just want it to look cool, visually interesting. So I think it's very kind of interesting dynamic between like two different like approaches.
Yeah, and okay, so Brown Destroyer brings up a good point. For that era, most shots in the movie actually look pretty decent. It's just that one malbolgia scene, and maybe a little bit when he's first transforming into Spawn.
The cape does look a little wonky. It has not aged well.
All right, there's also my scene that specifically stands out to me is not the best CGI, is when he's first turning into Spawn and how his chest is moving like this because he's like in pain, but the beam just stays in this direction, so it ends up doing this, and it just looks not that good. But besides besides the shots we mentioned, a lot of this movie actually holds up pretty well, except for the malbolgia scene.
There are a lot worse looking movies of this era.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Like, as much as we're criticizing it, this is by far not the worst example of bad CGI.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so let me ask you this: what's your favorite scene from the movie? And chat, you can reply to.
I would probably say the scene, like you just showed with the cape where he goes in, kind of reveals himself, and he's kind of having that fight with Wynn.
Yes, yes. My favorite is when it's honestly that scene too, because first off, his entrance is the best. He just through the skylight, the cape is flowing like crazily flowing.
I gotta
like,
say
like
this.
he has wings. Yeah.
Your entrance was good. His was better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most cool movement was his cape defending against shooting from the bike.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Again, this movie captures so many of the badass moments from the comic. Because Spawn's a badass character. Again, you can argue about whether or not the Spawn comics are written well, and the first 30 issues definitely are. But you can't deny the character looks awesome.
I will give Todd this. He definitely stepped up his writing game. Because if you read Spider-Man, which was like his solo comic, the writing's terrible. Art's great. The writing is terrible. But between that and Spawn, he really stepped up his writing game, and so I got to give him credit.
Well, because guess what? He had to, because you could argue that book was popular because it's Todd McFarlane and Spider-Man. In this, it's a completely original hero, so it's on him if he does, and he's writing and drawing, so it's on him. So he really had to step up his game.
Mm-hmm.
And arguably he did, because I love Spawn. It's one of the characters that I've really started to get into actually recently, because I picked up like one-off issues of She-Spawn and King Spawn. King Spawn's amazing. But
have you ever read Medieval Spawn? I heard that one's pretty good.
I haven't. I had to, and I want to start getting more of the action figures for Spawn. And I like how, by the way, my first exposure to Spawn was actually a Halo product, because he did when McFarlane did the Halo 3 action figures, he did a repainting that's the EVA armor but Spawn colors. I'll see if I can find that.
Also, have you played Mortal Kombat 11?
I have, and yes, I know what you're talking about. Spawn is a character in that.
And not only that, they actually got Keith David to voice him from the HBO animated series.
Yeah, here you go. See? Spawn colored Spartan.
That is cool.
It is cool as hell, dude. Like, wow. But yes, I love that. I love the entrance animation for Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11, because he's just hanging on that church thing and he just jumps down.
So the Spawn video games are kind of hit and miss. I feel like most of them are kind of like,
should buy Spawn.
No. Todd McFarlane is not like, because the thing is, Spawn is basically Todd's baby, and Spawn is actually decently successful.
He's not going to sell creative control over Spawn.
Not unless he wants to, because Todd's actually a really successful person, and the thing is, Spawn is probably the most popular independent character, or even just the most popular character the two have premiered in the last 30 years. And
he's the most well-known independent character, I think, of all time when you think about it.
Yeah, it's honestly, the only other independent character that even comes close to Spawn is Hellboy.
Yeah, a little bit. I agree with you on that one. A little bit.
Like Walking Dead may be up there in terms of success, but it's not really Walking Dead is not a superhero comic. It's an independent. It's certainly an independent comic book, but it's not a superhero comic.
Yeah. But and again, I think it's because, well, first off, fighting against Satan is always popular for a genre. It's like fighting against the enemies of World War II. I have to say that because I have to be careful how we phrase this. Hellboy, Invincible. Invincible is getting there because of the show.
Yeah. I will add The Boys, though. I feel like that's only, the show is objectively better than the comics.
The comic is just shock factor. The comics, it's like it should be an endurance challenge. Read the Boys comics without going crazy.
Also, you do realize Invincible is made by Robert Kirkman, who who was the creator of The Walking Dead. Basically, Kirkman kind of has like his own subset of Image now. Like,
He's
I
a
think
partner too.
I mean, if I created one of the most successful comics in the last 20 years, I'd make him a partner too.
Do you know how? Did I ever tell you the story about how he got them to publish The Walking Dead?
How do you do that?
All right, so what happened was, at the time, zombie comics weren't big, and no one thought a zombie comic could be successful.
Yeah, this was slightly before the zombie craze.
So to make them publish it, so he pitches it, and then I think it was Larson was like, well, no, you see, I don't think we could do that right now. I mean, because again, zombie comics aren't that big right now. He goes, well, actually, I didn't tell you this. I didn't tell you this actual other part of the story. It turns out this is the prelude to an alien invasion. I'm going to be seeding stuff throughout the beginning of the book. So when the invasion happens, you're going to be like, oh, I saw this coming from the very beginning. So that got him in the door. They published the book. And then Larson's like, I've been reading a lot of these issues. I think it was Larson. I mean, it might have been someone else. But the point is that editor was like, I'm reading the issues. There's no indicator of an alien invasion. And then Kirkman laughs and goes, I just told you that so you'd publish the book.
The only way he got away with that
is because it was popular.
Yeah. Like if it was even mildly successful, they would have just canceled it right then and there. But because it was a runaway, it's like, oh, fine.
It got
now
to the point.
It's a funny story because it's popular.
It got to the point where people would ask, "Hey, guy, hey, what's the most popular issue of The Walking Dead?" Whichever one came out now. Okay, so what's the second most popular? Whichever one came out last week. It just grew and grew and grew. But we will be talking about The Walking Dead at some point. We can't,
and then the TV show came out and it took it to a whole nother level. Like,
oh yeah,
I think the first printing of the first issue goes for like $10,000 or something crazy. Like,
I know.
And the thing is, it came out in 2001. Like, it is. Oh, we got David Hernandez.
David, what's up, dude? We're talking Spawn movie. But right now we're kind of doing a little side discussion about Image Comics, which, okay, it's cool. It actually links well. And remember, okay, so you may be wondering, how did Todd get into the action figure business? Because this all links to Spawn. What happened was he was getting all these toy deals because, again, Spawn blew up, and the toys back then sucked.
Yeah.
If you've seen like old Kenner Star Wars action figures, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, they were cool
as a person who lived through that time, they were not good. Like basic, like, yeah, the Turtles were pretty decent toys. But the Power Ranger toys of that era were not good.
Yeah, like, hang on. There's no way you'd get an action figure that looks like this back then.
No, honestly, if I knew we were going to be talking about 90s toys, I have like 90s Power Ranger toys somewhere. I would have dug them out, but
we can do that for a show and tell episode, which we still have to do. But anyway,
at some point, yeah.
So Mcfarlane goes, okay, well, Todd did not want his action figures to look like the 90s toys.
Wait, I got this.
Yeah.
So Todd was like, I'm going to create my own toy company with blackjack and hookers.
Well, actually, you know what he did? The Thanos meme. Fine, I'll do it myself. By the way,
I like my version better.
Did you hear that? So there was a story, and the left went after Todd McFarlane for saying this. So he goes, I get a lot of questions about, would you ever consider doing an all-female line of action figures for the stores? And he goes, no, because those don't sell. But what he said is, here's the story. Let's say you're a kid. Let's say you get good marks in school, and you go, okay, so son, we're gonna go reward you. We're gonna buy you an action figure, and you get him the girl character, and you give it to him. The kid's gonna be like, okay, thanks, mom and dad, but they didn't have any soldiers. Oh, they had plenty of soldiers. They didn't have any monsters. Oh, you should have seen the pegs. And you got me the girl toy. And then Todd goes in his typical deadpan Todd way. Now, I don't know if I'm right or not, but serial killers start at a certain spot. In other words, he's saying that like that moment is when serial killers are born. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. I love Todd McFarlane. But So that's basically his whole thing, because he goes, okay, you know what? Oh, have you guys read Savage Dragon from Invincible Comics and Invincible and Spawn? It's overly political and sexual. I haven't read Savage Dragon.
Eric
I have
Larson
the first issue.
is a hack.
Really?
Yeah, he is a freaking hack. He makes Dan Slott look like a pillar of emotional maturity and rationality.
Mm-hmm. Well,
he makes Dan Slott look like a reasonable person, is what I'm saying.
That says a lot. But anyway, so he makes these action figures, and nowadays we know what a Mcfarlane action figure looks like. They look like the toy.
Well, to answer David's comment, the reason for that is back in the day, the Transformers toys were just brought over from Japan, and Legos are Norwegian. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. Like Legos are from the Netherlands. Like, I don't know if you knew that, but like Lego is literally from Netherlands, so they have a different quality standard. And Japanese toys are freaking amazing. I don't know if you've ever actually like had Japanese toys.
I've seen them.
The quality is amazing.
I've seen them. They're built like tanks.
And this is not just collector's pieces. This is stuff that's made me play with by 8-year-olds. These are amazing.
So, and the thing about it, what Todd says, the reason why he's able to do good, well with the action figures, because he says, I focus on the head. Because if the face looks like who it's supposed to depict, the body becomes, the body of the figure is still important. But if the figure looks like the person, then you're more willing to then the body is like, okay, fine. Which that makes, but that's why it's like, for the most part, that looks like Cavill. But anyway, back to the Spawn movie. So, and one of the things about this, I count this as, this is basically a Batman movie if Batman were a demon guy. It's basically what it is in terms of tone and everything, because it feels like a Batman movie kind of a little bit. If you know what I'm
I could see that, yeah.
And it's kind of funny. It fits with the way Batman movies were back then because it was very ridiculous.
I mean, it came out during like the Burton Schumacher run of Batman movies, so it does make sense.
Exactly. And I mean, one of the things I appreciate about it with that's like if a figure comes with swappable heads, they always sell better than just the mass version. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. So Todd got in trouble also because he said he couldn't package an action figure with guns. So Red Hood didn't come with any guns. So what he did is he released a munitions pack, which is just the guns for the action figures separately. Because apparently DC was overly political and it didn't want their action figures to come with guns, even though if it's Red Hood, that's kind of his thing. Just like, he came with a crowbar, but I'm like, but he had guns in the storyline you're referencing because it was a Three Jokers one. But anyway, back to Spawn. I know we keep getting away from Spawn, but
like I just want to say this: the Todd McFarlane toys. I don't think this is much of a hot take, but they are directly responsible for lifting up the quality of toys. Without toys, we'd not have Hasbro Lightning. We would not have any
Marvel,
basically
Legends to a certain degree.
Todd McFarlane literally created the adult toy segment. Without Todd McFarlane toys, we wouldn't have Hot Toys. All these like adult action figure segment we have is because of Todd McFarlane toys. He is solely responsible for this.
Because guess what? He was the one that said, your quality sucks. Look what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And he's basically saying, stop being lazy and actually work hard and look at what you can get. And the thing is that they were hugely popular, rightly so.
Yeah. So basically, I mean, his strategy was actually a really simple one. He focused on creating good quality product. Yes, they were more money, but like they're good quality product. Maybe released in lower numbers. They're a little bit more flexible.
Super Sons.
It's actually a really simple strategy when you get down to it, but he executed it beautifully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing about Todd McFarlane, the reason why I respect him is because
he is a smart mother ducker.
He's smart for one thing, and he sticks to his guns. He will find some way to make something work.
Who doesn't stick to their guns?
Who?
James Gunn.
Yeah, it's
No,
yeah,
get the
exactly.
joke.
Nice, yeah. But it's like, no, it's because and it was a document. There's a documentary on YouTube that I think Sci-Fi did about Todd McFarlane. It says, "Don't tell Todd no, because he will do it." It's like with the action figures. They told him you'll never be able to like make make these quality Spawn action figures. We all know what happened.
Basically, the biggest problem with the movie is it was forced to be PG-13. It should have been.
Oh
R.
yes.
But you got to realize this movie came out like it was hard to do rated R movies. Like Deadpool was really the one that broke the mold for like rated R superhero movies and brought it into the mainstream. Before that, rated R superhero movies were kind of really hard to do. Like we got Watchmen, and some stuff like that, but we hardly ever got them. But like there was no freaking way we are gonna get a rated R superhero movie, even about a superhero that, while popular, is not as like big in the 90s. There's no way they were going to do that.
I could see this one. And by the way, David asked, was Logan before Deadpool?
I think it was after.
And by the way, nice, David. Dead poop. I like that. Thank you.
I want to say it was afterwards. I mean, if people want to correct me, I'll be happy to.
But here's why that's heavy. They didn't play it like a superhero movie. It was a vampire movie.
Yeah, like basically it was kind of a trivia. Like, oh, did you know that Blade is actually a Marvel character? Thing is, see, that's why it's kind of a modern kind of retelling that like, oh, Blade was the first modern Marvel movie. Blade set the template. No, it was successful, but it was a vampire movie. X-Men and then Spider-Man was really what set things off.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting, yeah, and I mean, I guarantee you, I'm going to make a Jared prediction. This new Spawn movie, if and when it comes out, will be rated R.
Yeah, there's like, and the thing is, this is speculation territory. Oh yeah, I mean, Benicio del Toro did it, so of course it's good.
And Logan came out. Blade 2 was great. Blade
I
2
think
was
the biggest reason, and this is my speculation, this is not me, this is not fact, this is me speculation. I'm just making that clear. I think the reason why Todd has had a problem getting a Spawn movie off the ground is because two things. One, he wants like direct crew control. In fact, I think he wants to direct it. And two, he insists on it being rated R. I think most studios are a little bit gun shy about working with him because he wants such direct control over the movie. If it was more just like, oh, hey, I hand it off to you and, blah, blah, blah. But
well, in his defense, he doesn't trust executives to make a Spawn movie that actually works. He's got a
what
point.
Happened with the last one?
Yeah, he's got a point. And then Brown Destroyer says,
thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, 100%. X-Men and Spider-Man are what solidified superhero movies as legit movies.
Like, I will say Blade kind of like creaked the door open. It kind of got the foot in the door. But really, the door blowing off moment was the 1-2 punch that was X-Men
and Spider-Man.
And then Spider-Man.
And what's kind of fun, and David, also Spawn is so dark. Here's the thing. There were 3 comic book characters that I think should only get R-rated movies. Wolverine, we got that with Logan.
Mm-hmm.
Venom, we still haven't gotten that yet.
I will say the 2 movies kind of work because they go for kind of the camp edge, and I think it kind of works.
Yeah, that's true. And then we also have Deadpool, got 2, and Spawn.
A 4th wall break inside a 4th wall break.
That's
like 16 walls.
Yeah, exactly.
I just love that line.
I love that line. I love where he gets torn in half and he's walking. He's regrowing his legs and he's like walking. And then Weasel's like, come on, little guy. Come on, little guy. And actually, here's a good question. What do you guys consider the first modern DC movie? Probably Batman Begins, I think.
Modern DC movie.
I say Batman Begins.
Yeah, because the thing is, DC kind of took a break after Batman and Robin. No, Superman Returns actually came out after, because Superman Returns came out like 2007.
Oh yeah. So it was after Begins. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because like DC actually took a long break after Batman and Robin. They didn't come back till Batman Begins. Like, they were on TV, with like the animated stuff. You had Smallville come out. The movies didn't really come back and forth until 2005. So, yeah, Batman Begins just because like there's just not much else to compare it to.
Yeah, exactly. And Bloodshot should have been rated R from the very beginning. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, too. Bloodshot's another one. I don't think Bloodshot was that bad, but like, I don't blame
that movie came out at like the worst time possible. Let's be honest.
It's actually a very good movie, and we'll probably talk about it somewhere. I don't blame him because executives just don't care about making good superhero movies. It's all about money. Well, we saw what happened with the Snyder Cut and the Whedon Cut and all that.
Yeah, here's the thing. I feel like your average director, your writers, they want to make good movies. I feel like it's kind of the producers and the executives that are kind of holding things back a little bit.
Yeah, and by Tevia. So yeah, that's how I know that the general audience doesn't want the Christopher Reeve's version of Superman anymore.
I've said as much myself.
And yes, yeah. By the way,
by the way, I like Superman Returns. I actually like that movie.
Me too. By the way, it was kind of funny. James Gunn actually said, also referenced, okay, I'm not going to keep adapting other people's versions of these characters because he was talking about like a Christopher Reeve Superman. He says, we have to be able to respect the past, but also approach these characters in a new way. So I'm like,
that's fine and fair enough to say. Like, I appreciate him saying it, but talk is cheap. Honestly, like, the problem with it wasn't really marketed as a comic book or DC movie. Like, you see, there's certain movies, like, for example, Road to Perdition is based off a comic book.
It's a Vertigo property, right?
See, Constantine is based off of Hellblazer.
Yeah.
It's Vertigo. But the thing is, Constantine wasn't really marketed as a comic book movie. That's
why you could have like some like. That's why you can have Blade being rated R because it wasn't like, oh, it's a comic book movie. No, it's really a vampire movie.
Yeah, it was like a vampire action movie. Like, Blade has more in common with Underworld than it does with your average Marvel.
I love those Underworld movies. But
oh my god, we need to do those.
We're doing that. But by the way, and that's the thing, because back then, remember, comic book movies were seen as, I sent you the link, dude. Where are you?
Oh, I gotta do this. Get over here.
Actually, wait. I actually have a good idea. Hey, JJheat.
Get over here.
Yeah, I had to get that one. But the thing is, back then.
By the way, we need to do Mortal Kombat, all 3 movies at some point.
Yeah, we will. By the way, the thing is that back then, comic book movies were not respected back then. And so they thought if they market it as a comic book movie, it'll be seen as a kid's movie, and we definitely can't have an R-rated kids movie. If we market it...
We're not saying Blade 1 and 2 are bad movies. We're not saying that. They're good movies.
All right, and JJheat, I repeat what I said before. Hang on.
Get over here.
But let JJheat do his work, and then he.
No, I know.
He's got to work before he can play. He's got to work before he'll be let out and play with the boys.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, yeah, it's like Underworld. A part of which it's not. I don't think Underworld's a comic book property. It's not. It's original.
It was original.
Super good though. I love those movies.
Oh my god!
Much. But
I only really watched the first 3 movies. I tried to watch Awakening. I don't know. I couldn't get into it. Like, even Rise of the Lycans was actually pretty decent. Like, that first kind of run of 3 movies are really good.
That's one of the many reasons why I hate the Twilight movies, because they make it like werewolves turn into actual wolves. And I'm like, no, they don't.
I mean, there's different variations of werewolves, let's be honest. But yeah, Underworld's so good.
Yes, it's really good. But, all right. So with Spawn, see, here's the thing. And remember, we're approaching this having seen like so many different comic book movies at this point. And when you think about it, this is very much not like the previous comic book movies that we've seen. Like, this is not like any of the MCU movies, although I would love if they could make a Spawn Ghost Rider crossover. That would be dope.
Why haven't they done that yet?
I have no. If there's one Marvel character that should cross over with Spawn, it's Ghost Rider.
Actually, what DC characters would you have? Like,
Not
Deadman.
counting Batman, because we've already had that.
Yeah, Deadman. I'm trying
Here's
to think of like
Wonder Woman, because she fights gods of the underworld.
I'm trying to think of more like hell based.
Obviously,
kind of
Constantine.
Johnny
Well,
Hellstorm.
Well, here's an idea.
No, Johnny Hellstorm. Johnny Hellstorm.
Yeah, here's an idea. Justice League Dark.
Okay, I can see Constantine and him having a good rip off.
Yeah, exactly. It's all that. The Doom Patrol could mix with Spawn too. Oh, that's interesting. I could see that.
Has Hellboy ever crossed over with? Because I think Hellboy's Dark Horse, but
Hellboy, I think, has.
Because like Hellboy and Spawn, they seem like a perfect crossover.
Hellboy, I think, has crossed over with DC characters. Yeah, they have. They have.
Yeah.
There was a comic called Batman, Hellboy, Starman.
But what about Hellboy and Spawn?
Hellboy, Spawn crossover. Did they do that? Let me see. Yeah, it is. It's wait, Hellboy, the Hellspawn Chronicles, is a 2021 action adventure fantasy superhero horror film based on the Spawn comics. The film is a crossover and the announced Hellboy reboot. So is there?
I'm looking at like stuff that Spawn is crossover into. Spawn is crossover into Witchblade. He's crossover with Sonic. Holy crap!
Oh, actually, hang on. Just check. Underworld is part of the IDW Comics universe. So it is a comic book property.
Well, it was a movie first.
Oh, yeah. All right.
So
Animal Man,
apparently,
Swamp Thing. Nice. Those are good.
Spawn appears in Invincible number 60.
Oh, wow. I don't think I have issue 60, so I can't like that.
Let's see here.
Spawn also appeared in Donny Cates' crossover comic, because it's all about the comic book characters, mostly image characters for obvious reasons, crossing over into the real world.
I can't believe Spawn is crossed over with Sonic. That is crazy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm looking at the wiki. In Sonic Super Special number 7, Spawn appears in a panel and confuses Sonic and Knuckles for kids in costumes.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. It works though.
Yep, and then Spawn appears in Invincible number 60.
There you go.
Let's see here. He appears. There is a medieval Spawn Witchblade as a crossover between both series. Oh, we gotta read that.
Oh, we will. We're 100% gonna read that. And by the way,
if Mike Turner drew that series, like, oh my god, I gotta look up to see if Mike Turner ever.
Interesting fact there. I happen to have backed a project by Top Cow on Indiegogo. They're recollecting the original Witchblade comics into hardcovers, and I got all 3 of them signed by
Holy Shuka!
You want to share the screen? And I like that attempt to censor yourself. That was a good one. I was like, am I going to have to remove him? And then you went with it.
You'll know why I doing this. Like,
wow,
Mike Turner doing Spawn.
Oh, let me see if I can find Mike Turner's actual version of Spawn.
Oh my gosh. Like, oh, that is as good as...
That looks so good. Oh, God.
Oh, here's him
found
doing
it.
He did a medieval Spawn Witchblade. Like, oh my God.
Hang on, here we go. I'm going to pull it up. I have it.
We are big Mike Turner fans here.
Oh, hell yes. I don't think there's a comic book fan around that doesn't like Mike Turner's art. Look at that.
That looks so good.
Oh my gosh. My first Mike Turner book, by the way, was his crossover with Batman, Superman, and that was basically the Batman, Superman Apocalypse movie.
Oh.
I dug that guy's work. And he even did so Spider-Man Red Sonja.
Ooh.
Red Sonja. There's a character that has to cross over with Wonder Woman at some point.
You know what I want? I want a 3-part crossover. Red Sonja, Wonder Woman and Black Widow.
How about Red Sonja, Wonder Woman, and Witchblade?
How about Red Sonja, Wonder Woman, Black Widow, and Buffy?
Why Buffy? Oh wait,
Because I look.
Buffy and Spawn.
No. Buffy and Blade.
Yes, there you go. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You kill vampires, I kill vampires. Oh. How do you guys like the Max Steel movie?
I've never seen it.
It's a movie. It's a movie. I watched it. It's okay. Do I have a clip that properly like encapsulates this movie? Let me see. Actually, you know what? Here, I'm gonna borrow a clip from Nick real quick. This is the Max Steel movie. Hang on, where is it?
Oh, we're suddenly the Phoenix Press now.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Here's the thing.
Crap, mega crap.
Movie's so bad, dude. It has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. I'm like, no, it's horrible. It's sad because I like the source material, but in terms of Ahsoka, Command of Spawn. Now, what's a Marvel property that you think would cross over with Spawn really well?
Well, I've already got Ghost Rider out of the bag.
I think we're pretty much done with the movie. This right now.
I think Daredevil would be cool.
Okay, The Man Without Fear, that works.
I still think Johnny Hellstorm. I think that's a DC property. Would be cool.
Johnny Hellstorm. Let me see. But wait, there's a character there's a Marvel character who's the son of Satan.
I think that's Johnny Hellstorm.
He's a Marvel character then.
Oh,
if that works, so that would work. You could even do.
Imagine Spawn meeting Mephisto.
Tevia, why? Okay. How does that work?
Venom and Carnage.
Oh yes.
Oh
yes.
No. This is a bit of a troll, but the Marvel character that should cross over with Spawn is Spawn and Angela. If you know, you know.
I know. Oh yeah, Angela. That seems like she fits really well in the Spawn universe.
It fits so well. It's almost as if Todd created her.
Yeah. So you want to give the background of that joke, Nick?
Okay. So Angela was originally a Spawn character. Okay, she was like from heaven, and apparently Neil Gaiman worked on some Spawn and Angela stuff, and there was like a lawsuit. And he ended up with the rights to Angela and like a Spawn variant. And then he sold it to Marvel. So that's how Angela went from being an Image character to a Marvel character.
And they just said that oh yeah, she's Odin's daughter from like the 10th realm or something like that. A previously undiscovered realm.
Whatever.
So I'm like, okay. But yeah, that's
if they ever
that joke.
have Spawn crossover into the Marvel universe, they have to have her meet Angela, be like, wait, you look familiar.
Let's see. I'm also kind of a Hulk Spawn. Ooh. That could be fun. That could be a fun fight.
That could be.
Oh, Brown Destroyer asked a good question. What is the worst, Max Steel or the reboot of RoboCop?
I've never seen the reboot of RoboCop, but like from what I've seen, like it looks like decent. It's not as good as the original.
It's not that bad. It's not as bad as people think it is.
They tried. They at least tried with the reboot. I'll give them that. It's not as good, but an attempt was made.
Mm-hmm. But I'm also okay. Hulk v Spawn. So let's see what else. How about
Spider-Man?
Honestly, a Spider-Man.
No. I got the perfect one. Spawn and Moon Knight.
Oh yeah, that works. Oh hell yeah, that works.
That is perfect.
Oh, I got a good idea. She Spawn and Captain Marvel have a competition on who's the better female character, and I think you can tell.
No, you won better. She Spawn and She Venom.
Ooh, dude. Well, you know what would be kind of funny? That book has to be drawn by Todd McFarlane. For those of you that don't know, Todd McFarlane is the co-creator of Venom. I have that.
I am shocked they have not done a Venom Spawn crossover yet. That just seems like perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I gotta look it up, see if they've ever done that. Like, because that just seems like.
By the way, right there, baby, right there. The birth of Venom.
Todd, let's see here. There's one where creator where Todd said he's open to a Spider-Man, Venom, and Spawn crossover.
That would be sweet.
That would be so
Tevia,
cool.
As for DC, you know, I would want Spawn. Why? Okay, Tevia, here's the thing. Whenever we do these crossover episodes, you always go with those two, even though they wouldn't work. How does Spawn work with John with Super Sons? Yeah, I know. Plastic Man and Venom would be a cool crossover. That'd be hilarious.
That's crossing the line.
Yeah, with Spawn would be really awesome. Also adding Gunslinger Spawn would be a pretty cool one.
No, Gunslinger Spawn crossing over with the Punisher.
No, Gunslinger and Spawn crossing over with Deadshot.
No. If we're doing a Marvel Spawn thing, Spawn with the Punisher.
Yes. Oh yeah, they're like, you like killing people? No, a Spawn, Punisher, and Commando Spawn, which is pretty much the Punisher. You go, you like killing people with guns? I like killing people with guns. Do we just become best friends? Yeah.
Oh, and throw Cable into the mix.
Oh yeah, Cable. Wolverine and Spawn.
Oh,
dude, that would be so dope.
Imagine like Spawns in a Marvel Midnight Suns kind of story.
Oh, Spawn and X-Force.
That is too much awesome.
That is too much awesome. Spawn. I could see Spawn. Crossing over with Deadpool and Deadpool making really meta jokes. And he's like, no, he goes, don't you know someone named Angela? I could so see Deadpool making that joke right there. I gotta go, dudes, get stuff. All right, see you, David. It's gonna be awesome. Yeah, okay, so what else would be a really good Spawn crossover? And again, anyone in the chat can help us out with this.
Also, it's any comic book character.
Any comic book character. X-23 Laura, that's a good one. Yes, and was she Spawn too? Yeah, that works. Now let's go to DC.
No,
the Batman. Violator and the Batman Who Laughs.
No, I got one more for you. Western Spawn with Jonah Hex.
Yeah, that works.
Basically, you put Western Spawn, he ends up in the Jonah Hex universe or whatever.
Technically, by the way, Superman appears in the Spawn comics. They go down to hell, and he's like, my name is Cal, and I'm a doomed refugee. He has a blue suit and a red cape. I know what you're doing. Because at that point, Todd got very, vindictive against, Marvel and DC. So he had a scene where, all of their characters are, in hell. It's pretty obvious it's all their characters.
Yeah.
Dr. Fate. You could also do, I don't want to do Blackout. So someone said previously in the chat, Swamp Thing. You could do, let's see, how about...
Brown Destroyer suggested Mask.
All right, there you go. Oh, there you go. Deadpool and Mask and Spawn. That'd be hilarious. That's a comic book movie we have to cover because I forgot that was a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Mask. That's one of Jim Carrey's best. Can you imagine Spawn showing up in the Deceased universe? Dude.
Spawn and Judge Dredd.
Yes! Judge Dredd becomes a Spawn.
Spawn versus Judge Death.
Yes. Yes. Spawn and the Matrix. Because technically the Matrix has comics. She Spawn and Jaime Reyes. That'd be interesting at least. I want to see Spawn and Red Sonja. Oh, Spawn and Injustice.
Hmm.
That would actually
Spawn goes into the original Turtles universe, like the original black and white Turtles universe.
Oh, he's in black and white, and he's like, "The hell."
I could still see that. Trying to think of like famous indie comics. Spawn in the Walking Dead universe.
How about this? Spawn the Spawn universe. It's a revolutionary crossover.
So you're suggesting Spawnception?
Yes, exactly. Spawnception. Exactly.
Spawn in the Inception universe.
Wait, Spawn in the Underworld universe.
That would actually be pretty cool.
That would be dope. I personally want Super Sons of Bell. Okay.
Okay. So here's my pitch. All right. So, some people show up. They trank Al Simmons. They put a bag over his head, and then he gets knocked out. And so it's like he doesn't know any. And he wakes up, and he's like, "Wait, why is there forest?" And he goes and he sees a town sign. It's Forks, Washington.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I just did?
Is that an Underworld thing?
No. Twilight.
No.
They just
No.
I just put Spawn in Twilight.
To have Spawn burn down the whole place. In that case, Spawn in 50 Shades of Grey at that point. They're basically the same thing because 50 Shades is a fan fiction.
No.
And
like,
Tevia.
okay.
Let me ask you this. Wait.
No. I just want this.
Real quick, Tevia. Okay. In what? And I mean this as a legitimate question.
This is totally being derailed.
How does this add? Tell me how this would be a good crossover. Present your arguments. Okay, so sorry, Nick. Go ahead.
I lost my train of thought.
All right. Well, okay. Spawn team up with Bloodshot. That works. But you were talking about the Twilight crossover, and I mentioned we might as well do.
50 Shades of Grey. So for those who don't know, 50 Shades of Grey was originally a Twilight fanfic, and I don't mean it's based off of it. It was literally a Twilight fanfic that you can go onto fanfiction.net right now and read. And all that E.L. James did was basically just change the names around and maybe change a few other things. And it is literally 50 Shades of Grey. So calling 50 Shades of Grey Twilight fanfic is about as accurate a statement as you can get.
And boy, Brown, that's the best idea for a crossover we've had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. There's more. If any of the Ghost Riders would be cool.
Imagine him trying to do the penance stare on Spawn.
And he's like, "Why isn't it working? I don't have a soul for you to burn." It's kind of like in that Ghost Rider movie.
Wait, I think Spawn does have a soul, doesn't he?
Then wouldn't the pen stare work?
Yeah, never mind. But like, it would be a cool fight though.
It would be a cool fight though. I think.
Imagine. Okay, here's a crossover. All right, Mephisto and Malboja team up. So Ghost Rider and Spawn team up against them.
Nice. And by the way, Etrigan and Hellboy.
I don't know who Etrigan is, though.
Etrigan is the demon from DC. It's the one. I'll pull him up. Maybe you've seen him.
Imagine Spawn, but he meets Lucifer from the TV show.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I could just see him saying, "Well, I didn't know we ordered our superheroes extra crispy around here."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Tevye says this crossover with the Super Sons team up with Spawn would involve both Neron and Malbolgia trying to take John and Damien's souls while Spawn. Okay, that's an interesting story idea. I guess. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. It's your idea for crossover. All right. But I think that's a good place to leave it. JJheat never showed up, but he's being a responsible adult and working. So there you go.
Yeah.
But so Nick, what have you got coming up on the channel? As a matter of fact, hang on real quick.
Tomorrow I will be doing a live stream where we talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie. Yep, and then don't forget to go to that one. We are at 13 people trying to go for 20. So if you're not signed up to be notified, please do so. Like again, the goal for today is 20, and I really appreciate you guys. We're launching May 5th, so the Revenge of the 5th will be well in order, and we'll be launching it on this channel.
There you go. Yep. And for me, I have a video coming on Monday talking about why I like the Heroes in Crisis storyline. Wednesday, I either have a guest coming on or I'm going to talk about Sheriff of Babylon and still figure out other two capes. And next week for movie night, it is going to be Teladia's pick. He couldn't be here either for personal reasons, but it'll be a Teladia movie pick. And then it's going to be my pick. And then we'll go back to the DC AMU movies. And yeah, obviously we have like the Star Wars review. And after the Star Wars review show, we're going to take a little break from that type of show. And then obviously I also have the rewatch through of Justice League with Nick that comes out every Tuesday.
And then don't forget, Super Split Screen Brothers will be returning next Wednesday. We took a little bit of a break this week. Friday Night Frenzy was kind of the substitute. And then also next week we will be continuing with the Frenzy, and Jared will be joining us, and it will be great.
It'll be awesome. So stay heroic, everyone. Happy spawning. The spawning has happening.
Happy Spawner Day.
Chicken is a big character in DC Comics. He's a regular member of the Justice League Dark. Yeah, that's who it is.
Okay, cool.
Because he was a knight in King Arthur's court, and his soul was linked to Etrigan the Demon by Merlin.
Oh, okay.
So on that note, stay heroic, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye-bye.